There's got to be an easier way, right? So we're really excited about the Spod. It's going to basically control and everything that is electronic, the whips to the heated seats to all the lights. We in this thing. Justin here with PRP Seats. It's PRP DIY. We have a big day ahead of us, so we've got a couple cool things. We've got our rugged radio setup. We have an Spod setup. We have all of our lights. We have our buggy whips. We have windshield. We have mirrors. We have all these things we have to go ahead and talk onto the car. We got Joey's checking out the mounting options we have with our comm system, our radio, just double checking kind of where we're going to put it all, because we're working with the Spod setup, rugged radio setup, so we're trying to wire a bunch of things at once. So we just want to make sure we are mounting where we want to mount and mounting the Spod where we want to mount it, and making sure all of our controls kind of flow. So we got some stuff. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and check out the Spod setup. So the Spod setup and the Bantam, we have to make sure that this is the distance to go from the rear passenger seat. Yeah, the rear passenger seat, and see if this cord is gonna make it all the way to where you wanna mount the Spod. All right, so went ahead, just removed this handy dandy guy. I placed this, if you can see it, this template here that Rugged Radio provided, and so I lined it up. Their template shows 5 switches. The DS Turbo only has 3, but we went ahead and just assumed that 2 are being used by the pin pad here on the DS, so it's a little like keypad deal. So basically we lined it up on the 4 points. They sent us a template. You can use whatever you want to cut it, just make sure that it's clean. So time for cut.
And go ahead whenever you're ready.
Aha! All right, so Joe's got the T30s. They're right down there if you can see them. So those 2 guys got to come out after you make the cut. Save those for later, for a snack. You into eating T30s?
Every day for breakfast.
Breakfast, eat T30s. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Oh my God, it just came out. Ah! I'm hoping that's right. Okay, so drilled holes on this side and this side, so we can then mount this plate up to where the initial chop where the cut was, and then there's 2 little side pieces that cover this gap area, so we're gonna go ahead and put those on. What's going on, you guys? PRP DIY, it's getting late. We've got the Baja Designs Squadron Sports mounted. We've got the Bantam X Spod. Spod, we're connecting it to the battery here. You can't really tell. We got the rugged radio in down there. I can't really flip it, but we got the wiring into the back here, and so we're gonna mount the Spod to the bottom, and then the Bantam part to the bottom, the back of the rugged radio to the back side. All the wiring is going to be central here. The Spod will be mounted up here. We're going to have a full windshield. We haven't put on yet, just trying to finish it up. We added weather stripping to the top of the roof. When we took the roof to get wrapped, we realized it rattled a bunch, so we went ahead and added weather stripping. It gave us some room to run this wire here, so we've got, just kind of zip tied it down for now just so it stays in place, but we're going to end up cutting all these, but just crimped all the wires for the rear tail light. Now we got to route the whip lights to each other and then down this line again, based on where our tabs are, and this weather stripping gave us a little bit of room to run this wire on the outside versus running through the cage. So wiring day, let's go.
How you doing? I'm Joe. I work alongside Justin over at PRP Seats. working on his car today. Unfortunately, he's not here, of course, leaving me with all the work as always. Well, yesterday we got through quite a bit of the wiring. You can see that we got the roof back on. We're actually wiring up the S-Pods right now, trying to get everything situated to where we want to go. It looks like a huge mess. There's a method to the madness, I promise. So on here, we're going to get started, and hopefully wiring day 2 goes a little bit smoother than wiring day 1.
Going into the accessories portion of this, must-have DIY add-ons is really what I went with here. And the PRP Comp R steering wheel, right? It's D-shaped. It allows me because I'm taller, I'm 6'5", I needed that extra leg room. And the sway just allows me to have better grip when I'm driving out there. Went with a UTV fixed hub on the actual mount for this car, for the steering wheel. I could have gone a quick release from us, but for me personally, I don't feel like I'm going to be taking the steering wheel off at all, so I just went with the actual fixed mount. Works totally fine, works with the car. So super happy about that setup, allows me to fit in the car. Next, jumping over to the S-Pod and the Bantam, is that all my lights, my seat heaters, my intercom, all of that plugs right into this, so it runs, the wires run from wherever they're headed, or from wherever they're going, and they head to the back side of this box here, where all the wires plug in, and then just directly come out to this source. Went ahead and mounted it here, so it's easy access, didn't have to cut any more plastics, it just comes out right through here. And the cool thing about the S-Pod, it has that factory reset, where if anything's tripped or anything, it just resets over time. So which is a great little feature to have. Next, jumping to the Rugged Radio M1. So I have the M1 and then the 696 rocker switch versus having the actual other. It's like the M1, but it's also white. It controls the music and the volume and stuff like that. So they've switched to this. So I have this little switch here when I want to pause, phone call, or adjust the volume right, and then the intercom button when I'm ready to talk, turn that on, turn it on the S-Pod here. So gotta have communications, love the rugged setup. Gotta have a switch panel, right? This controls all eight things. I've got my light bar, my 2 front lights on separate switches, my buggy whips in the back, my intercom, my heated seats. So it programs all of that, because this car just doesn't have 8 switches. I'd have to make 8 switches. So this is super crucial. And then the steering wheel for the grip. And those were my must-have accessories on the interior of this car. So yeah.